But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul.
Fixing the fights. It's not fair. It's an embarrassment on boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men.
StephenASmith is calling out Jake Paul, slamming his pattern of choosing significantly older opponents and questioning the legitimacy of his fights. Furious, Smith says it's time to take the gloves off both literally and figuratively. He highlights the upcoming fight with 58-year-old Mike Tyson as a prime example, calling it not just dangerous, but outright unethical. Smith accuses Paul of exploiting aging fighters by offering massive paydays, using their legacy to boost his own profile while putting their health at serious risk, all in the name of profit.
These are the kind of things that I'm talking about here. Boxing's a skill. Let me give y'all an example. Remember Francis Ngannou? Remember that monster? That Nigerian nightmare? Remember him? And then we saw him show up and show a little skill against Tyson Fury, who came there out of shape. What happened when he got into the ring with Anthony Joshua? He got put to sleep much in the same way Nate Robinson got put to sleep. Boxing is a skill. Jake Paul is a professional. He trains. At some point in time, I don't give a damn if it's a light heavyweight. Beterbiev, Bivol, a super middleweight, Canelo, Mexican monster, David Benavidez, somebody that actually has a reputation.
A wave of confusion swept through viewers during the 7th round of Jake Paul's fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. When some fans noticed online platforms already showing Jake as the winner, this premature announcement sparked serious concerns about the integrity of the match. How could the outcome be displayed before the final bell? The incident has only intensified suspicions of prearranged results, adding fuel to ongoing allegations of rigging in Jake Paul's boxing career. 4. Skeptics, it didn't seem like a simple glitch. It looked like evidence of behind-the-scenes manipulation.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end results as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.
Many fans struggled to reconcile Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s oddly passive performance with the once formidable reputation he carried. Throughout most of the bout, he appeared unusually static, showing minimal aggression for a seasoned fighter. His lack of offense raised eyebrows, and when he finally threw a few punches in the final 2 rounds, it seemed more like an attempt to save face than a genuine effort to win. Frustrated viewers began referring to Jake as fake Paul, implying that he wasn't facing real opposition and suggesting the fight felt more like a staged performance than a legitimate sporting contest.
Under 40 in 6 months. And he's been off the El Chapitos. He's been off the El Mayo Zambada up his nose. So he's probably more like 48 adjusted. A 48-year-old man. Okay? There's numerous angles here, right? Was he paid not to throw punches? That's possible. Is he just 48 in La Coca years? That's also possible. What we know for a fact is, fake Paul's useless, honestly. He's proper useless. Chavez like this, just standing there. No pace. In the last few rounds he had a little bit of pace. Even then, fake Paul just clings on though. Fake Paul's, I've been saying this, fake Paul's got no inside at all. He's got no stand and let's have a look. Let's work here if he's coming at me. He clings on for dear life. He kind of pushes his punches out, slap, slap, slap. No, all this talk of power. These dudes. Chavez actually, he looked a bit smaller than Fake Paul. Fake Paul's not a cruiserweight. He's a light heavyweight, honestly. He's so soft. He's got like these big rubber dinghy arms. Big rubber, soft. Not Chavez looked more like an athlete. But that'll be on, well, is Jake Paul going to fight anyone? They're already walking back the Zerdo situation. Oh, Zerdo don't sell. Well, we knew Zerdo didn't sell.
People are still talking and tweeting about the legitimacy of Jake Paul's fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Many viewers feel something was off, and suspicions continue to swirl online. Skeptics point to Chavez Jr.'s unusually passive performance, calling it suspicious, and claiming the fight was rigged. One user summed up the sentiment, tweeting, "Jake Paul fight clearly rigged. No way a real boxer sat there for 8 rounds barely throwing a punch, then suddenly starts boxing and looks fresh as hell in the last 2. Nah, you can't tell me nothing. He was told to lose and make it look close at the end." These kinds of mismatched fights, especially those involving high-profile influencers like Jake Paul, are becoming more common. Fans are drawn in by the spectacle rather than the sport itself. While the influencer boxing trend has generated huge interest, it's come at a cost. Hardcore boxing fans argue that marketability is being prioritized over merit and that hype is overshadowing fair, competitive matchups. When a recognizable name like Chavez Jr. is involved, audiences expect a real fight, not something that feels scripted. Still, as more people tune in, controversy becomes the fuel that keeps this form of entertainment alive.
You felt like boxing's pretty rigged overall.
Oh, yes, Rick, dude. I mean, so many politics, even with, MMA, man, there's so many politics. There's no more art anymore. It's just, let's get an influencer in there. I get it. It's like generating money because our attention span is so short. You look at clips now, it's like 7 seconds. I saw a dude slamming a lady the other day, and they were like, oh my God, that dude is, I'm like, well, what the do? I'm just going to pick somebody and slam them. Where's the whole video? And our attention span is just so small. So money talks, of course. Yeah, let's get an influencer in there who has no style, but it draws attention. It's just dumb.
There's another angle that sparked heated debate. Not that the fight was fixed, but that it was all about money. Some believe Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s shockingly low punch count, just 13 throughout the entire fight, wasn't proof of a setup, but of a lack of preparation. To these critics, it wasn't rigged. It was a lazy grab for an easy paycheck. They argue that Chavez Jr. didn't come to compete, he came to collect. Many are now questioning why Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. didn't step in to protect the family. Name with some calling the bout a public humiliation. Accepting the fight in that condition, they say, wasn't just unprofessional, it was a decision that traded legacy for a quick payday.
Results, a couple of shocking results. I think that Jake Paul undercards and the promotional arm of his brand, I think, is the most fun part of what Jake Paul brings to boxing. Honestly, I think long term, I think that's what we can hold hope for. Because Jake's fights are, this one was borderline atrocious, and kind of the writing was on the wall. But I gotta admit, even I bought drank the Kool-Aid, and mainly I drank the Kool-Aid because Chavez Sr., who also is disgraceful for doing this, made me believe, and I think, this has been the problem with Chavez Jr. He's been enabled constantly by the media, the promoters, his family, and all this other stuff. So he never really shows up prepared. He never cares and just shows up to get paid and basically steals the bag every single time. And he did it tonight again. The reason I actually thought this fight had a chance was because Chavez Sr. Guaranteed us that his son was motivated and was having a training camp. So as much of a Hall of Fame career as a father had, he's the con artist, I guess, must run in the family, because Junior's been a con artist his whole career, but at least he's been enabled through it, But now the father doing this, I mean, you knew already your son wasn't going to be ready. You put your own reputation on the line and sold us this crap. And then ultimately your son throws what most guys will throw in a round. He throws it through 10 rounds. It was actually kind of really insane.
Jake Paul has firmly pushed back against the growing rumors, especially those surrounding his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. He dismisses the accusations as baseless, claiming they're fueled by jealousy or fear of his rising success. Critics call every major fight rigged as a way to discredit the hard work he's put in. However, fans remain skeptical, particularly because many of Jake's opponents have been retired legends or inactive fighters. The Tyson matchup has only intensified that scrutiny, with many seeing it as yet another example of his controversial approach to matchmaking.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have swung like this, I catch it and shoot. He's leaning forward I could have knocked him out. So that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average person doesn't understand boxing.
Boxing coach and former Olympian Tony Jeffs added his perspective to the debate, suggesting that many people are too quick to cry foul simply because they don't want to accept Jake Paul's wins. Jeff acknowledged that most of Jake's victories have come against older or less competitive opponents, so he wasn't exactly endorsing Jake's skill level. Instead, he was challenging the public's tendency to label every fight as rigged just because the matchups aren't elite. You might be raging and saying, but he's not fighting real boxers, Jeff said. Yeah, you've got a point, but that doesn't automatically mean the fights are fake. His take wasn't a defense of Jake's boxing talent, but a call for a more balanced view. Not every questionable performance is part of a grand conspiracy.
You might be raging and saying, but he's fixing the fights. It's not fair. It's an embarrassment on boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. It's so embarrassing. He's fighting old men. Well, is it a fix? No, mate. It's not a fix. Is Julio Cesar Chavez past his best? Yes. Was Mike Tyson past his best? Absolutely, mate. Now, if you look at all of the great fighters, look at all of the records, and you can go on BoxRec and see this, you'll see that they are fighting either one of two people. Either a person who's a journeyman, who's coming in there just to lose and give the fighter their experience, or they'll be fighting someone who might have been a former champion who is now past it. And finding these right opponents is key for the development of any fighter, not just someone like Jake Paul, but any fighter. Now, with Jake, because he's got so much attention on him, people are seeing this. Whereas normally, fighters are not even live on TV until they've had X amount of fights. If you look at someone like Floyd Mayweather, look what he fought in his 4th pro fight, or even his 10th pro fight. Some of these fights will not be on TV. And now Jake is on TV and he's fighting former world champions, which he's fought a few now. I think everyone should give him respect now as a fighter. Fighting someone like that and putting so much pressure on himself as well. Now, do I fight and other fights was rigged? Absolutely not. I think that Jake is very smart. He's picking the right fights, but at the same time, he's developed as a very good fighter now. There's no denying that he is a very good fighter now. Yes, he did lose that one fight to Tommy Fury was it a split decision?
Despite the backlash, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. insists he's not done with boxing, calling his recent performance just a bump in the road. But many fans aren't convinced. How can a fighter who threw so few punches still claim to be an active, serious competitor? His post-fight comments did little to reassure anyone about his commitment or preparation. Critics argue that his response shows a lack of accountability and sends the wrong message to young fighters who once looked up to him, that coasting through a high-profile bout is somehow acceptable in the sport.
What was difficult to do in the fight tonight that you wanted to do but you couldn't?
Our confidence, first round, and come forward. I think when I'm back, it's not good for me. So if I'm fighting again, I learn this. So take the punches, but come forward and try to be more inside, because when I see him inside, his punches don't have the same power. So I think I do a mistake in these things, like fight a distance.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. I kept asking myself, why isn't he working on the inside, throwing body shots, hook, upper, you know?
Yes. So maybe more fights, a little more confidence, I need it. Like more confidence.
This fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. isn't the first time Jake Paul has faced accusations of staging his bouts. He's developed a track record of arranging matchups that often feel more like entertainment events than legitimate athletic contests. Fans have noticed a familiar pattern: older opponents, seemingly easy victories, and maximum media hype. The upcoming fight with Mike Tyson has only amplified these concerns, with many already dismissing it as a promotional stunt rather than a genuine competition. While Jake has undoubtedly mastered the art of generating buzz, it's also made him a magnet for questions about his credibility in the boxing world.
Important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them.
Allegations surrounding the upcoming Mike Tyson fight have taken a troubling turn, with claims that the bout may be partially scripted. Rumors suggest there could be guidelines dictating how each fighter should behave in the ring from controlled punches to choreographed sequences, making the event feel more rehearsed than real. Some insiders have even hinted at contract clauses that would financially penalize Tyson if he were to knock out Jake Paul too early. If true, such conditions paint a concerning picture: a fight designed not for fair competition, but to ensure Jake emerges unscathed, both physically and in reputation.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include: the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money, he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm going to let y'all read that.
Accusations like these have become a constant presence in Jake Paul's career. Many fans believe he doesn't just pay his opponents to show up, they suspect he pays to ensure they don't outshine him. These claims aren't pulled from thin air. They're fueled by a pattern of suspicious elements across multiple fights: extremely low punch counts, lack of knockdowns, and strange anticlimactic endings. After Jake's win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he suddenly jumped into the top 15 of the cruiserweight rankings, a move that stunned many, given the minimal resistance he faced. For critics, it didn't feel like a hard-earned boxing milestone. It felt more like a PR victory dressed up as legitimate success.
Then you want us to respect Jake Paul as a fighter, but how you want me to respect this man as a boxer and he basically pays his opponents to lose? The culture didn't want to see that. All the 80s babies and people born in earlier time did not want to see that fight. And I think if I knew these rules, which I believe these rules make a lot of sense to why Mike Tyson really didn't fuck him up. And it's like, why do you think people want to continue to watch a Jake Paul fight when every time it's going to always be in his favor because people are paid to lose? Nah, respectfully, that's not real boxing. That's not real fighting. I'm sorry. And I know for Tyson, he's retired anyway. He's still the champ. This fight didn't mean anything, but it meant everything for Mike Tyson fans. And I'm just like, I'm disappointed. And I wasn't even going to come on social media. But like I said, once I saw Trick Daddy post that, I was like.
Observers have pointed out that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s body language and lack of effort seemed unnatural throughout the fight. The mere 13 punches he threw appeared soft, unfocused, delayed, more like someone acting out a role than genuinely competing. Odd moments, like glove biting, only added to the growing suspicions. These details gave the impression of pre-planned sequences rather than spontaneous athletic performance. Whether coincidence or not, they continue to blur the line between sport and spectacle in Jake Paul's world. While many remain convinced the fight wasn't scripted, some believe that resistance to accepting Jake's success fuels the doubts. They argue his performance speaks for itself, and instead of giving him credit, critics look for excuses to downplay his achievements and hard work. Despite the backlash, voices like Adam Smith see Jake Paul's journey as groundbreaking. From YouTube star to headline boxer, Jake's rise has been anything but conventional. Though controversy follows him, his ability to command attention and dominate fight discussions is undeniable. His transformation into a boxing brand tells a modern story of influence, fame, and strategic business moves. Whether fans see him as a legitimate fighter or a fraud, Jake Paul's story is now firmly entrenched in the era of crossover boxing.
I mean, if he does, it's going to be one of the great stories of this generation, isn't it? They start off as YouTubers, as influencers. I love working with Logan Paul and KSI when we did that fight together. It was the sort of start of it. My kids love what they've done, the whole Misfits thing. Look, yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm a hardcore boxing fan, and that European title fight doesn't get any better. But Jake Paul has millions and millions of followers.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.